Whoever believes has eternal life. Sounds like a good deal. Now tell me, what do I have to believe? I am the bread of life. Oh, okay, no problem. Now Jesus' hearers, when he first said that, were a little perplexed. And they said, well, this is Joseph's son. We know his mother and father. How can he be the bread of life? How can he come down from heaven? You know, he's just too ordinary. We know who he is. I think we have a kind of opposite problem where we believe readily. Sure, Jesus is the bread of life, but then that itself becomes kind of ordinary to us, and we kind of forget what that means, and we certainly, I think, aren't taken aback by it as Jesus wanted his first listeners to be, and probably wants us to be thrown off balance a little bit, so we're challenged with this saying of his. St. Dominic confronted the problem of the ordinary as well. When he was traveling through, well, he thought it was just going to be traveling through southern France, but he ended up getting stuck there preaching because what he encountered was the belief that pops up throughout the centuries, and this time it was called Albigensian, but this belief that pops up that matter, that the creation, that everything physical, everything that's part of the material world is somehow evil. And so, as I read in that biography of St. Dominic before Mass today, you know, the Albigensians, at least the really true believers, wouldn't even get married and procreate, and why create more evil? And there's a God of evil and a God of the good. And St. Dominic thought to himself, well, this is precisely not what Christianity is about. They profess to be Christians, but they haven't heard the good word that Jesus is God become human, really become human. Yes, in this ordinary world, in this created world, here is God. In this man Jesus. In the Eucharistic bread. In our daily actions. Somehow there is God. Whoever believes has eternal life. Whoever believes in this ordinary way of God breaking into the world. And Jesus says here, whoever believes has eternal life, not will have. And it's well, first what I meant to say about this was believes, not just has belief, not just has this thing called belief, this gift of faith from God, but who puts it into action, who believes, not just has belief, who believes. And so I've been really struggling with this lately, trying to think, well, what does this mean when we put our faith into action? What does it mean when belief becomes not just a noun, but a verb? Not just even a word, a verb, but an action. Well, I think generally it's about putting our whole trust in God, putting our life in God's hands, but what does that mean? What does that look like? Well, for me, it often looks like when I can accept God's grace in the moment to let go of some of my anxieties or worries. What does it look like for you? Does it look like letting go of concern about your future? Does it mean trusting in God enough to try something new? Maybe to try something new, which is seeking reconciliation with somebody. Does putting your faith, your belief in action look like telling somebody about how good God has been in your life? Take a moment now to think about, what does that mean in your life? Just think in the quiet. what does putting your belief into action, what might it look like in the coming days? Just think about that in the quiet.